Hi, welcome back to Mildly Familiar. Today we're going to be talking to Shippiddge. Shippiddge is the man behind Starter Squad and Smash Hasm. He's been around in the internet for quite some time. I'm excited to talk to him. I met him at a party. He was very, very nice. We saw some stage shows, and he's a good guy. And I'm excited to get him to know him a little more better here on the Mildly Familiar, More Better show.
You ever been to a party where everything is going swell? And you turn to somebody, say, I'm Gage, I hope you're well. And they say, we've met before. And you say, oh no. I knew they looked mildly familiar. Mildly familiar, oh no.
Hi, welcome back to... I had it increased on my mic, and I didn't know how increased it would be, and it's just too zany. Anyways, I flubbed the intro. It's Mildly Familiar. You know the show. You clicked on the thumbnail. My name's Gage, and today on the show, we have Mr. Shippiddge. Shipp, how's it going, buddy?
Yo, I'm doing great. Glad to be here. I'm glad I got that intro.
I don't put any effort into these intros. You should know that by
That's
now.
part of the charm. That shows that you're you know? You're a human. You make mistakes.
Yeah, it's like that Billy Joel song, Second Wind, where he goes, something, and then he just laughs in the middle of the song. Do you know what?
I don't know
what I'm
that
talking
song,
about?
but that is iconic when people make mistakes and just own them.
Okay, all right, I'll take it. I will be iconic, and I will own that. So how you doing this morning, bud?
Yeah, all right. Pretty samey. It's weird to be waking up at the morning because my schedule is usually out of whack. I'm usually up all night.
How long were you up last night?
Gosh, that's a really hard question to answer. I was like, at 2 a.m., I was like, this interview is going to be great, and I'm so ready. And I was like, okay, I got to take a nap at the perfect time so I'll feel this way in exactly 10 hours. So my attempts to simulate that are like halfway there.
You're putting a lot of expectations on this interview, and I am getting very, very nervous.
I'm sorry. That's generally what I do to people, is just put a lot of pressure on them, and then together we sort of just like have this energy of, oh, let's try our best.
Calm down. It's going to be a mediocre interview. So we met initially at probably at one of Dave's party, probably through our good friend Dave Capdeville, right?
Yeah. I think we were at his house for like a Halloween event. You were dressed, I believe, as, was it a JoJo character?
No. I was David Bowie one day, and then the next year I was Blue Morpho from Venture Brothers.
Blue Morpho. I was close. I was really close.
Yeah, they're the same animated series.
David Bowie, I think, was closer to JoJo.
Well, David Bowie's also closer to Venture Brothers because he's a character in Venture Brothers.
That's true. God, I can't believe they got canceled. That just
Yeah.
really hit me. They had so much lore and they were ready to keep going with it. Now, do you have any news on that? Like, are they going to be picked up by something? Because that has to continue.
I know Adult Swim realized their mistake as soon as they canceled it because, like, the day of, they tweeted out, they're like, we like Venture Brothers too, guys. And everyone's like, you just canceled it, though, so they're talking about continuing the story somehow.
All right, good.
But I'm not sure in what format.
All right, well, that's good that they recognize that, because that has a lot more to say. So I want people to be aware of that.
Agree. Go watch Venture Brothers if you haven't. I say they put them all on Netflix just to get everyone invested in them, and then they're like, then they'll have to make more because people will demand it.
Yeah, that'd be a tactic.
I know that's not the wisest tactic out there. Just put it on Netflix. I know there's a little more complication to that, but that's just my.
But you're saying like go the Adult Swim Family Guy route, where like if it's in the public consciousness, then people will really really demand it.
Right. You know what I'm talking about. You smell when I'm shitting.
Yes, I do. I've heard people use phrases similar to that, but that is the first time I've seen that phrase be used like that.
I'm trying to coin that phrase so I can put it on T-shirts and sell out.
Can't promise I'd buy it. Can't promise I'd buy it, even if I'm part of it.
You've been super supportive as it is.
Yeah.
We've seen like stage shows together, and that's been really, really cool. Because I wouldn't have taken like, I mean, it's not the first thing to come to mind when it's like, oh, an internet animator. He might be interested in improv comedy or stage shows. Is there anything that might surprise people that you really indulge in?
You know, I'm surprised that you're surprised by the improv thing, because I think improv is, or should be, just a staple of any creative. That really gets you on your toes for writing, for speaking, for dialogue. And I mean, I used to do it every week consistently. And then I did the whole LA classes thing where I was driving to an hour and a half to LA every week just to do the LA classes improv. Because it is really valuable getting those improv skills and getting those reps in. Because that is the one thing that I missed from moving out of California, is we don't have that quality improv. I mean, we have improv. We don't have the quality improv that you get in LA. You really do get, like, you learn from people that know what they're doing, and it's the one thing that's probably gonna, aside from friends like you, it's the one thing that's probably gonna get me back to LA is the creative scene. It is really underrated and important. Maybe not underrated, but it's important.
May I ask what classes you took?
I went to Iowa West before it shut down, and I tried to do that standard track. And then when it finally shut down, I nearly cried. I was like, it's so But I think my best experience was in Fullerton when I took like the classes just outside the college, because I don't know what it is with those guys in Fullerton, but they're really good at their game, and they're really cheap too.
Shout out to Fullerton.
Yeah, seriously.
So how do you apply improv to what you're doing right now?
Oh, it's well, right now it's hard to say. A lot of it just is the acting, because character animation especially, when you animate a character, it is you. You have to do the acting and then transfer that acting into another character. But it helped especially in the writing process, just because you have to come up with stuff. You have to be on your best. You have to be confident about what you're saying. You have to, I guess, simulate conversation. It's all around. It's just good for sparking you creatively. If you're ever at a block, getting improv reps would be good. And, you know, I still do those improv games and those improv reps when I do any of the streaming stuff I do every week on, like, Twitch and stuff. It comes out. I think those are skills that you will always use in every day.
And what is that Twitch channel?
Oh, it's Ship.tv. I've been streaming a lot lately, but that's just for fun. I don't really consider that a part of the. But yes, it's Shipp, my name, SHIPP.tv. If you're interested.
Awesome. Yeah. No, I would love to catch one of those. That wasn't a plug. That was for me.
You're curious.
So what sort of improv reps do you work out to? You know what I mean. You know what I'm saying. What improv exercises do you use?
Lately the thing that I just do generally to get me warmed up and to get my streaming partner warmed up is the 1 2 3 thing, because that's the easiest one. Is just we're trying to think of the same word. 1 2 3, this word. And we both try to say the same thing at the same time, and then build up until we say it. That's the one I do every single time. I really like that one that I used to do in improv, that is just sing. That gets you comfortable immediately with the group. If you go in the middle and just start singing whatever, and then it's the job of the people on the outside to tag you out and start singing whatever their song is. And meanwhile, when you sing, everybody else in the group has to sing along to what you're singing. And if nobody knows that song, you have to be alone singing the one thing that nobody knows. But getting yourself to sing and be uncomfortable in front of everybody else is just an immediate fire starter. Same with just the word association one, where you're in a line and you say a word and the next person has to think of the first word that they can possibly think, even if it's super offensive. They just have to say the first thing, and you keep going. But it's really all about getting that block that's making you say, like, that's maybe not such a good idea. Maybe I shouldn't say that. Oh, I can think of a better thing. But get that entire. Just make it the first thing you can think of, and if it's bad, it's bad, and we'll move on. But if it's good, it's something, and you might not have said that had you stopped yourself.
Yeah, the singing one's my personal favorite too. Word association's great. Do you want to try to do the 1, 2, 3 right now?
Sure. Pick a category.
Okay. The first thing that came to my head was meatballs. But
Meatballs.
Meatballs isn't a category.
That's a category.
It's more of a
No, it's too late. You have to go with meatballs.
It's too late.
Ready?
I kind of. All right. 3, 2,
3, 2,
1.
1. Spaghetti.
Pasta. 3, 2,
3, 2,
1.
1. Noodles.
Ravioli.
3, 2, 1.
Ziti.
Rigatoni. 3, 2, 1.
Macaroni.
Gnocchi. 3, 2, 1. Macaroni and cheese.
3,
2, 1.
Wraps.
Cheese. 3, 2, 1.
Cheese.
Cheese.
If we just keep screaming cheese, then eventually it'll be funny.
See, that is the real key to improv.
People will tell you things like, oh, you just got to be comfortable. You got to be willing to take on anything. But
Bullshit.
It boils down to just cheese, just saying the word cheese.
Modern not even modern cartoons from all time. If you scream cheese, it's funny after like 3 minutes.
Cheese. His name is Cheese. Oh, Cheese? Yes. No, not you, Cheese. Yes. Cheese. Yes.
That's why I think the Wimpy Kid books do so well. There is a cheese touch in those books, and they carried over to the next book, and it's genius. I love those books, although I probably shouldn't be reading them. So how have you been spending your quarantine besides doing like animating and improv and all that fun stuff? Oh, I was just saying recreational stuff.
Recreational stuff? That's hard to say. I got a calendar in front of me that says the 4 things that I have to do every day, and everything else is just gravy. And that's work on Starter Squad, exercise, meditate, and draw. If I can get those 4 things done by the end of the day, that will be all I needed to accomplish for that day. I don't really do much else. I don't socialize. I don't go out. I just do those things and occasionally hang out with my roommate. That's about it.
Hey, I'm glad you have a plan down. I am a horrible planner. I'm just like, wake up in the morning, maybe brush my teeth, definitely get some coffee, and then slouch on over to my work computer and hope I have creative energy left over to do what I do on YouTube.
But you have a whole thing though, don't you? You take your walks all the time. Yeah, you got a new diet and exercise thing going.
Yes, sir.
You got your work, of course. I mean, I think you are probably more organized than me, because even if I do have those 4 things, those go in like this 24-hour spin with no circadian rhythm where I just have to get those 4 done, and sleep is just sort of all over the place.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just like a little caught off guard being like, yeah, you do walks, you do diets, and I'm like, oh my God, how much have I been posting online, and how much have I been talking to Shipp?
See, I pay attention. You know, you reach out. That's the one thing, is that nobody has reached out to me as a friend as consistently as you. I mean, even some members of my family, I don't think are check up with me as much as you. So you know, when you tell me things, I try to pay attention, because it sounds like you're getting your shit together, and you're getting your shit together socially in quarantine, which I think is very, very different from what a lot of people are doing right now.
Oh yeah. I live by myself, and I just if I don't talk to someone, I go very, very stir crazy very, very easily. So I try to reach out to people who I normally don't talk to. I mean, I started this whole show just to talk to people that I kind of know. And social is the number one important thing to me. Socializing is the number one important thing to do in this quarantine, because that is the easiest thing to let slide.
Interesting, because I think I suffer the same way as you. The difference between us is that I don't take that extra step. I'm like, I really need to socialize with somebody, and I could easily just reach out right now. No, I'm not gonna do it though, because I'm not gonna do it, and I'm not gonna do it.
I always feel like I'm bothering someone whenever I reach out. I'm just like, hey, what are you doing? I know you're working on big projects and all that, but...
Yeah, but that's the thing, is if you were bothering me, I just wouldn't respond at that moment. I would just get back to you later. It's not like I have any obligation, you know?
Like a typical standard human being, but I have that mental block in my mind where I'm just like,
Right.
oh, I can't bother a person X, Y, and Z because I know they're working on all that.
That's your difference. You have that mental block, but you move past it. I struggle moving past it. I stay often in the stage of, I'm going to bother them, so not saying anything.
The worst that can happen in my mind, I always try to like go to the worst case scenario, and the worst case scenario usually ends up being they're busy and they had a bad day and they don't want to talk to you and they're mad. And I'm like, oh, okay. And that's usually not even the reasonable worst case scenario.
No, that's not the worst case scenario at all. Worst case scenario at all is I am on the edge right now. I had a terrible day, and I'm not putting up with I'm gonna take it out on you because no one else is listening to me, and I need someone to understand this crap. That's probably the worst case scenario.
Okay, yeah, I haven't considered that, but now that's in my mind for whenever I reach out to you. Thank you very much.
Clearly, I've been taking quarantine positively. You know, this has been a good thing for me.
You've been taking all the right lessons.
I will say this: ever since quarantine, and ever since I've been prevented from going to the gym, I've gotten in the best shape of my life.
Oh, me too.
Really?
I lost about like 30 pounds in quarantine. No lie.
So did no gym make a difference to you?
It did in the sense where it gave me it put the responsibility on me where it's like, okay, now you have to exercise because you can't go to the gym. And I don't know. It's a very important difference because now that I think about it, being in the gym would be an encouraging thing for me. But
Yeah.
putting that on my own plate and not having to rely on like a schedule, being like, oh, well, every Wednesday I have to go to the gym. Now it's just like, you have to exercise whether you like it or not. And I think eating out is a huge thing too, because I used to eat out a lot. Now not so much. I do my own cooking, and I've been writing down what I eat every day. So I'm like, oh, if I had a burger, that's on my thing. That's written down.
Thank God. I feel not crazy. I do the same thing. I track every single thing that I eat in my phone. Not only that, but not having a gym anymore has actually made it way easier to work out. I had so many excuses before where I'm like, I don't want to get dressed and drive to the gym and this and that, and I had ways to put it off. But now it's like, well, work out. Your stuff is right over there. Go now. You don't have a choice.
That's probably what it is for me because it's a whole event going to the gym for me. I'm like, oh, I have to get dressed.
It becomes a chore.
Yeah, I have to go to I'm in Glendale, and I go to another part of LA just to work out. It was maddening. I had to take a solid like 2 or 3 hours out of my morning to do it.
Yeah, that's. I don't think I'm ever gonna get a gym membership again after this. It's like we proved that we don't really need them.
We don't need you, Jim. We're better than you.
God, what else don't we need now? I think we're figuring out. Well,
restaurants.
Restaurants? Definitely not. Do you have any idea how much money we've saved? I used to go to a restaurant like 4 times a week.
Oh, me too.
My God, it's crazy how much we've improved by just culling the non-necessities. And I probably shouldn't say that because my roommate is a waiter, so that would be terrible if restaurants went under.
Oh, just go to Shipp's roommate's restaurant. It's a good old SRR. I'm a big fan of acronyms. We love acronyms on this show.
I am, what's the word? Ambivalent. Completely ambivalent to acronyms. I don't care.
I don't know. By the tone of your voice, it seems like you have a little more hate for acronyms than you're letting on.
I'm completely ambivalent. I don't care what they stand for.
Okay. Hey, acronyms out there, you better watch your back. Shipp doesn't
Yeah.
care what you stand for.
WIT. No, that doesn't stand for anything.
Oh my god. That's, once again, that's our improv block that we're going through.
Hey, man, cheese.
Also, what are you drinking? You're drinking like tea over there? What sort of tea are you drinking? Like green tea?
Green tea, yeah.
Is that better for you than coffee?
It's got about half the caffeine of coffee, which is how I try to, I used to drink 3 cups of coffee a day, so now I'm like 1 cup of coffee and tea and more tea and a 4th cup of tea.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask. How much tea are you putting in your system each day? Because you have it written down.
It honestly depends. On days like this, I'm probably going to go for 2 cups of tea and 1 cup of coffee, which is
Right
about
on.
2 cups of coffee.
Yeah, I've been doing 3 cups of coffee at least a day, just because.
At least.
They've been long days, and
That makes sense.
need to get
That
through 'em.
makes sense. Yeah, coffee gets a bad. It's actually not bad for you. Green tea still. Green tea as well. It's like green tea has the whole added benefits of weight loss or whatever, but like, just limit your caffeine. That's the only thing.
Yeah, I agree with that. If it's just straight black coffee, nothing too harmful about that. Might make your teeth a little yellow, but I mean, like, everything does. I got so sidetracked off this interview. I was looking at these questions, and I'm like, what question did we get to? Oh, we're at number 3, and we're 20 minutes in.
I'm so glad you have questions. I didn't. I thought I would just have to come up with crap. I'm very used to like being the improv lean on, so I'm glad I have someone that's well prepared and has improv skills.
Oh, well, I wouldn't say skills, but I have
No.
improv experience.
I've been watching your show. You can't deny your own skills, especially not to me.
Shipp, you are a very confrontational guest. I am confronting not only you, but myself.
I'm so glad. I've always wanted to be a confrontational guest. In fact, I told my roommate, I'm gonna I told him he's gonna compliment me, and I'm gonna threaten him. It's gonna be great.
I am terrified to be your roommate.
Yeah, I know. It's awesome. I love
Hey, when you
it's
come
awesome.
back to LA, hit me up. We might room together. It'll be fun.
Yeah, maybe. If I can terrify you adequately, I will cut $100 off your rent.
Yeah, terrify me each day and scare me out of coffee.
Boy, if someone could scare you out of coffee, that would just... If someone scaring you could be enough to wake you up for the day, that sounds way cheaper.
I would not want... Oh, no, that did... I'm like, what if someone screamed at me and woke me up? That has happened a couple of times.
I kind of want to hear at least one explanation. When did you scream? Because I have my scream wake up story, but you go first.
Oh, yes, I want to hear that. But I was having an alarm set to wake up early in my apartment, and I had this crazy roommate, and I would set off like 2 or 3 alarms before I came up. But the first alarm went off, and I wasn't waking up. And before I got to turn off my alarm, I had my roommate burst in my door and say, "Turn off your alarm!" And that woke me up, and I was awake for the rest of that week.
Yes, it works. But you asked him? Did you ask him to do that, or did he just do that because?
No, they did it out of pure disgust for my for my alarm.
Ah, all right. That makes sense.
Yeah, they were mad, and I think for about a year or 2 after that, whenever I had the alarm, whenever my alarm went off, I immediately went on my bed and turned it off really quickly, just out of instinct. Even though I live alone now.
It's so funny how one primal scream can affect you for the rest of your life. That's magic in a way.
I wouldn't call it magic, but I would call it scarring.
Fairy tale like. I think we're in the same ballpark.
No, not at all. I'm more like Harry Potter's parents got killed at the age of 1, and you're more like, oh, he's going on wizard adventures.
Same story though.
Yeah, same continuity, just very drastic moments.
What was your alarm that was so heinous that it made them primally scream at you?
It wasn't like a song or anything. It was just a typical.
I would do the same thing in that scenario.
I don't know how long it went on for. I doubt it was that long. If it was more than like 15 seconds, I would understand. But I'm usually pretty good about turning them off.
Oh, it was quick. Oh, never mind. That's horrible. It was just like I fell asleep real quick. Ah!
Yeah, it's not like I was letting it go off for like a minute or anything.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
So what's your scream story? Your primal awakening?
Well, I thought, wouldn't it be funny, because I'm bad at waking up. So I thought, I know how I'll wake up is I'll record myself screaming as loud as I can, "Wake up, man! You have to get up and eat breakfast and you have to wake up right now!" So I made that my alarm, and after about, well, first of all, it works. It works really well. The first time, it was just,
I'm awake just hearing that.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's probably the diet version of it, too.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
You probably had you had a more extreme and macho version.
It was like, I need to wake myself up because I'm not getting out of bed. But after about the third time of waking up with just extreme anxiety and like the cortisol rush, I was like, waking up like this is not good for a human being. I can't do this anymore. And, but it stayed in my phone. You know how like you set alarms for certain times? And
right.
You
At like 7 o'clock, it does this certain sound.
So, I forgot.
Oh, no!
And occasionally, I would wake up to it, and it would come out of nowhere, and it would freak me out. And like one time, I just took a nap, like in a hotel room when I was staying, like visiting a friend, and they were just like, Jesus! It just came out of nowhere, and it just kept going. So like at this point, it's just off my phone, and I think I deleted all traces of it, so it would never return. But long story short, is screaming is only for emergencies.
I agree with that. Not something that goes on for 15 seconds, and not something
day.
that wakes you up every morning. Yeah.
Yeah, save that.
I'm like awake just hearing that story. I'm like, oh my God. What if my roommate comes back and screams at me while I'm sleeping here?
See, you live in constant fear of it now. So it's like life lessons. Harry Potter under the stairs, or whatever we were saying.
Yeah, that's pretty much what we were saying. He lives under the stairs. He goes to like Mordor or something. Who cares?
His parents were killed, and it's magic.
That's actually what started the magic in that universe. They killed the parents, and then they found out magic exists.
Yeah, Batman's parents died too. That's the key to book sales.
Buy Harry Potter and the Cursed Child now.
Is that a real book?
Yeah, that was a real book.
Okay.
It was something weird, like J.K. Rowling didn't write it, but she had, like, fans wrote it, and she approved of it or whatever, and then she's like, it's a play now. And then she wrote the play. It was something weird like that.
Well, that's pretty neat.
Or maybe she just wrote it herself. I would say it reaches a little bit. It's a little too fanficky for me, but...
It sounds like it is a fanfic.
Yeah, because it's just like Harry Potter, but he's grown up and has PTSD.
I wish more books would do that. Both the fanfic thing of being approved and the PTSD thing. All of it. It's great.
Hey, that's sort of in Starter Squad a little bit. You have characters come back just terrified about different characters and different aspects and events that happen to them.
Mm-hmm. Wow. You That is what you just said is pretty much the Aesop of episode 10. That whole deal, what you just said.
Oh my God, I ruined the Aesop character. Okay, we'll cut this out. Jimmy, cut this out. But you used to do like machinima stuff, right?
Yeah, that's how I started out.
Smash Tasm. I saw like your first video, just going. I saw half the first video, but it was like 13 years ago, and I'm like, oh my God, man, you've been around for quite some time.
That was not my first video. That is the first video that I've decided to leave up. I've
Ooh.
been on YouTube since 2006, which I was a little 13-year-old kid making what are they called, a bridge series out of Sonic X.
That's right. We talked to another guest about that, and I that's a corner of the internet I never dwelled into, and then dwelling into it now, I'm like, I would love this as a child. This is delightful.
Oh yeah, when I was in high school, that was like Yu-Gi-Oh! The Abridged series was like the cool new thing, and it was just so goddamn funny, and people would watch it at school all the time. I mean, that was I feel like I rode that wave when the wave was hitting, so I feel a part of that.
I'm here for your blue eyes, old man, and I won't take no for an answer. Now give it to me. No curses, foiled again.
Hey, I'm glad you were there. It that wave drew you into where you are right now.
Oh yeah. No, not really. Actually.
No, you're fucking wrong.
Yeah,
that's
no.
just bad. I know we do improv here, but you're just fucking wrong. Yes and no. Period.
No and the opposite of what you said. I think the machinima thing is directly what led directly into what I'm doing now. And the Abridged series thing, that immediately got, what's it called, taken off, copyright claimed. God, even in 2006 when YouTube was nothing, that the anime people got to me. Those are the only people that can successfully take down my videos, are these Japanese anime companies that find things that I use.
Not even like Nintendo?
Never.
I'm surprised like Nintendo hasn't come after your Pokemon property.
Right. Or any of the Smash Brothers stuff that I've done in 2008. Like, none of it. No video game company has ever. It's always been the people that own the anime songs. Yeah, anime.
Yeah.
It's because
Interesting.
well, I mean, video game companies, their big issue is ROMs and people pirating their games. I mean, anime can be pirated on YouTube. They just re-upload it. So they have a lot more to worry about. Whereas if someone uploads gameplay footage or really anything related to the game, they're not really stealing from the video game audience. If anything, they're encouraging people to play more of the video games.
Right, they're promoting it. That makes sense.
Which is how I think I've gotten away with what I'm doing, because if I were them, I would be cracking down. But it seems like they're giving people on YouTube a pass. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they just see like the Pokemon in the thumbnail and the views, and they're like, that's promoting Pokemon.
Well,
Maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That, and there's just so much Pokemon content that it's just impossible to, Same with any major Smash or any major property like that.
Just going back to Machinima real quick, because my grandmother watches this show. God bless her.
Mm-hmm.
But could you explain what Machinima is to all the cool people in the audience?
Machinima is straight up just a movie made inside a video game engine. So, just filming video games in a cinematic way and presenting it like a movie. That's all it is, and that can be in a number of things. You can do anything from, a game that was built around making a movie in the game to a game that really has no cinematic aspects of it at all, but you really just force it by your framing and your editing and voiceover.
Beautiful. And that was a very popular genre of YouTube back in the early 2010s, early 00s, right?
Interesting. I don't know if I would call it a popular genre of YouTube, because I had to give that explanation to pretty much every single person I ever met. No one knew what machinima was. I always had to define it. But we had a cult following, and I mean, we did build up communities, and those communities still exist really hard. The Smash Machinima community is still going really strong,
really?
And I am just really surprised. I when I did Smash Tasm, I planned for it to be 7 episodes, and I stopped at 5, and I just couldn't finish it for a lot of reasons. But very recently, like 2-3 months ago, the community got together and made their own ending to Smash Tasm because I wasn't going to do it.
That's amazing. I love that people get so passionate about. Yeah, I guess that kind of puts your J.K. Rowling cursed child comment into context.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from now. Okay. All right. I'm learning. This is what the interview's about. It's about learning about each other and learning about people who might watch you too. That's beautiful.
And I will well, kind of, because
What's the darker side to that,
because
though?
because when I watched it, I was like, this is exactly like I did it. They mimicked my style like perfectly. This is me at age 15, and this is what I would have made. I didn't really like it because of that. Because I feel like I'm past that now, and this was sort of a regression. This was exactly what I would have made at 15. But it really goes to show that when you make something that gets popular, you really don't have very much control over it. Like, the fans will decide the fate of that property. Even if you try to put your hand on it, the fans will decide how it is perceived.
So, knowing what you know now, what is your advice to people who are like, I'm going to do a multi-part series with an overarching narrative, and I'm going to post it online bit by bit? What have you learned and from that?
Whoa, what would my advice be to someone that's trying to do exactly what I'm doing right now?
Yeah, essentially. Yeah, that's it. Pretty much it. Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend it. Not at all.
Okay, I was thinking more along of like a TV show or like a movie series or something like that. Just any, or even like a blog.
The big difference, I think, between what I'm doing now and Smashtasm is that when I decided to make this a multi-part series, I had an ending in mind, like a concrete, this is the whole arc. Whereas with Smashtasm, I was just sort of, okay, I need another episode. Okay, I need another episode. But it honestly depends on what the actual content is. I really should have had an ending in mind for Smashtasm. With Starter Squad, it's going to end in a certain way, and these plot points are going to be hit just because it's been planned out as meticulously as it has. But I really shouldn't be making it the way I'm making it, where I'm doing, like, every episode is longer than the last, and I'm taking the whole year to make it. I really should have made a bunch of episodes at once and then released them so I don't get this huge weight that's just this. People don't and probably shouldn't do what I'm doing unless they have a very specific intention for it.
Yeah, I think the same things go with like podcasts and videos, and just make stuff, backlog the shit out of it, and then when you have a bad week or something, you can just put something out you already did.
That's good, but more importantly, keep the backlog in your head. Keep what's going to happen. I guess my best advice is plan.
Know what's going to happen.
Know what you want to happen.
I mean, that's pretty spot on advice. Just know and have a plan. I love it. It's straightforward. It makes sense.
I think it would be different if it was a show where it's like a sitcom and it's a new scenario every time, where it's different from like a story where there's an overarching plot that has to come to a conclusion at the end of the season.
We've been talking about Starter Squad for a hot minute, but what exactly is Starter Squad? How do you pitch it to people?
Oh, how do I pitch it to people? Interesting. I guess it's a show based on Pokemon, the original Pokemon, the Charmander, Bulbasaur, Squirtle, but from their point of view rather than the humans. And then I give each one a distinct personality and then just sort of make it a character-based show that goes on based on what they do when they try to train themselves and defy the humans.
Yeah, that's I don't know why I'm like, yeah, that's it. You got it right.
That's what it is.
Congratulations.
Well, yeah, you hit the hard questions here because that's a question.
That is a question, and you answered it. And what's even better is he answered it right.
Good interview. I get a treat after this.
I personally love the series just because there's a loose boundaries rules of people's understanding of Pokemon and the rules of the Pokemon universe. And it follows those to a degree, but it pushes your expectations just a little bit outside. So when you're like, oh, you shouldn't attack out of turn, it kind of surprises you sometimes. I think that's what I love about the series. It pushes the expectations just a little further than what you expect.
I try really hard to make it accessible to people that don't know Pokemon, but I'm pretty sure it's difficult to watch if you don't know Pokemon.
Yeah, I think that's a sign of a good parody or satire is when you can tell a certain story and the person doesn't have to be familiar with the property it's based on.
Yeah, I mean, in a lot of ways, I feel like I'm just using the Pokemon to tell the story of these characters. It has really a lot less to do with the actual Pokemon itself and more to do with, well, how would this really adamant character react if put into this situation? How would this fun-loving character react if they were put in a situation of horrifying stuff? You know, just try to push character stuff. It's character-driven more than it is Pokemon-driven.
Right. I would say the show would be pretty darn similar if it was just like 3 men on a journey that were forced to fight.
I've come very close to just like being like, oh, what? Can I just make it a turtle, lizard, and frog? That way, it's my own guys, and I don't have to, put up with this. But it is what it is.
Well, that's why I'm excited for the next series. You got a certain series ending in mind for Starter Squad, but you said
yes.
We've talked before. You had like ideas for other series and stuff, and I'm excited for you to make your own rules and your own universe.
Oh yes. Oh yeah, I've got a whole backlog of ideas that I really want to try out and stuff that I want to do after Starter Squad is over, but I don't know when I did it, but like I pledged my 20s to Starter Squad a while ago, and I did this whole deal of you can't make anything else until all 12 episodes are finished. Because once you start making something else, you're going to lose interest in Starter Squad, and you're not going to finish it, and it's going to go the way of Smashtasm. So unless you can finish the whole of Starter Squad, you're not allowed to make the other stuff.
That's actually what I've been trying to do less of, because that's been my mindset. I'm like, okay, if I don't get these Gauge Your Interest episodes out or these Mildly Familiar out, it's just not going to happen. I'm just not going to do them. But I've been doing like smaller videos on the side being like, oh, this is sort of like your refresher video where this is the video where you have fun. These Mildly Familiars and Gauge Your Interest, these are the serious business ones. It's a weird mindset, but it helps me like still have fun with the process.
I kind of have that for streaming, in that streaming is my, oh, this is fun, just do it, it's a once a week thing, and then, get my real creative stuff out, where the stuff that I want to count. Because, like, at this point I know that there are people watching my channel, so, like, if I make something, it has to be something worth putting it up on this pedestal. It has to be, I'm afraid to put out just things that random things at this time.
Do you think if you took a break for a year and did a video and came back to Starter Squad, you would still have that same passion? Because I know you have sort of that mental state where you're like, I just got to keep plowing through it. But do you think realistically you could take a break and come back to it?
Come take a break from Starter Squad and come back to it. That's difficult, because I feel like I would, but just out of obligation and pressure, because at this point I really have other things that I want to say and other works that I want to get out there, but I really need to finish this series. I don't think I would have the same level of commitment if I took a break from it to work on my other stuff and then came back to it, because I'm mentally, I'm already past the ending. Mentally, I've already seen the ending of Starter Squad, and I'm already ready to move on. It's just, it's not there yet. So no, I'm not sure I could. I really just want to finish.
And yeah, the last question I want to know is, what is your current opinions on the state of the Pokemon and Smash Brothers franchises?
Oh boy, the current state. Well, Smash Brothers, I think, is doing way better than ever.
Oh my god.
They have gotten what, Teenage Me's wet dream, just the full roster of every character I ever wanted, and I feel really spoiled. I don't know what they could possibly add to it. I think the community is going strong. Every time a new character is released, they're all out. They're doing amazing right now. The friggin' that series, yes. The Pokemon franchise.
You lowered your voice and you got very serious. Now the Pokemon franchise. Here's what we're going to. Go ahead.
It's hard for me to have an opinion. I wish it was better. I wish it was better. I feel like after Gen 3.
Oh my god! Wow.
I feel like after Gen 3, they've been on a downhill slope, in my opinion. No, Gen 4 had some. I don't think that they're going in any positive direction, from my personal opinion. For welcoming new players, I think they're great. I think every generation is going to grow up with their own Pokemon thing, but I don't know. Like, I feel like Let's Go was marketed to my sort of demographic, but it was made for the smaller demographic. They haven't been putting out things that I want in the way that like fan games do, you know?
Yeah, I think they've been on a downhill slope since 5 because they
5?
or as weird as it sounds, 5-2, Black and White 2. And because that's where they brought back all the gym leaders and they had like a bit of a story going on. And then afterwards, they're just like, let's make it a little more and more accessible.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't like 6. 7 seemed like it was trying to be cool and innovative and everything. And then 8 was,
yeah.
You know.
I'm not a big fan of 8. I would rather them. What would I don't know what I would do. Put out all the Pokemon on there. Give us all the Pokemon and don't make us pay over $100 in expansions.
Honestly, all I want, and I think I get this enough in fan games, is a challenging and actual game, and not something that just spoon feeds me. Because when it's spoon feeding me like that, I feel like I'm doing a chore. If it makes it like something I have to actually think about and like grind in order to accomplish things like I used to, it's something else. 'Cause, like in some of the older games, like I had to try to beat the Elite Four. In Gen 3, I had to work to beat the Elite Four. Now it's like it seems like they know that you're just mashing A half the time. I don't know. I feel like they could do a little better. But in terms of designs and everything, they're really cute. They're awesome. That's neat. I like the characters. Smash
Brothers, you're doing great. Pokemon, Game Freak, step it up a little bit.
See me after class.
You got a solid D-. You passed, but we're gonna have a talking.
Yeah, more or less, I guess.
Well, Shipp, I think that just about wraps it up for this interview.
Oh no, really? Oh crap!
We've been going for like 50 minutes, my dude. That's
oh my God,
that's more than the
like...
average mildly familiar.
Oh man, I love talking to you. That felt like it just went around. That was just like a conversation with a good friend. I didn't even get to confront you in enough things.
Oh no, now I'm scared.
Oh, wait a minute. Call your parents. I miss you.
I call them every week, I swear.
Call them twice a week. What else? If you ever do anything, bad, or if you do anything like harmful to your community, I'll find you. I'll do things to you. That's a threat. You have it on camera.
Sure.
Let's see. Be good to yourself. Don't let anyone else tell you who your friends are. Again, I'll find you. Damn it! I had so many more threats. You know what? I'm gonna save them. I'm gonna put a pin in them, and you're gonna get them.
We can always do a part 2, my friend.
We could, and I'm down to do whatever you want me to do, ever. I love you.
That's a lot of emotion for like a YouTube video that's probably going to get 100 views, but thank you.
You deserve it.
Aw, thanks.
You deserve it.
Thanks, man. You've always been very sweet and very supportive, and I'm very happy to have you on the show. And now I am a little more familiar with Mr. Shippiddge. I don't know why I called you Mr. Now I'm a little more familiar with Shippiddge.
Thank you, Mr. Agnew. I appreciate it.
Do you have anything you want to plug or anything you want to say to the people or any more threats you want to make?
Watch Starter Squad on StarterSquadShow.com now.
Could you give us like a really powerful now, like it's primal and you want your life depends on it?